I've had to make videos when I was hungover, when I was sick, when my dad passed away, which probably was the worst idea ever. But to me, it's not about, missing a day isn't going to make it like my views drop or anything. But to me, it's like if I miss a day, someone else is not going to miss that day and they're going to do better than me. Right. So it's like, and I want to be proud of future Jordy and I want to be proud of past Jordy. Right? Because you're constantly criticizing yourself. And when you look back, like I'll look back a year and go, oh my, like I was so stupid back then. Right? Which means that I've developed my myself and I've become better. And I want to look at future Jordy and make future Jordy proud of Jordy who's on the podcast right now, who's saying, hey, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna go crazy. But at the same time, keep a healthy balance and keep a healthy life and keep healthy like friendships and everything like that.
Yeah. So when you started going every day and you had that conversation with your mum where you were 3 months in or whatever and you were making minimum wage, what was the trajectory like for you from there? Did it take off quickly when you had that commitment, or was there a long period where you were like just grinding and not feeling those quick results?
Yeah. So I was grinding even before, like I was grinding for about a year and a half before like money started coming in. And this was just like the video got like 1,000 views, 2,000 views. I was making like $100 a month, but then this network I signed with was taking like 40%, which was Social Blade, by the way. Dude. Fun fact, guys, it was Social Blade. Anyways, I managed to get out of it because I signed it when I was a minor, and that's like not allowed. And they were like, okay, well, sorry, we'll drop it. So it was a lot of grinding. And then for me, it went from like me doing like $100 to me making a few $100 to me having like a big month. Like like $1,000. And when you're like 18, $1,000 is like an insane amount of money every month. And then it just doubled and doubled and doubled and doubled, and the views kept on coming in. And I think
how
by
are you
the time
feeling
I was like,
at that point?
Oh, I loved it. My happiest moment was when I hit like 100,000 subscribers, and I was like, I'm actually doing this. And like I had the gold, like the silver play button in my hands, and I was like, this is actually happening. And to me, it was hard work, but also constantly looking for improvements, right? Like if anyone asks me, how did you do it? Hard work. Like if you don't work hard enough, someone else is going to work harder than you and take your spot, right? And study everything, learn, read, watch podcasts. Like if you're watching this podcast, you're on the right track. Watch another one. Watch 5 more episodes. Watch every episode.
Only this one. Just watch all the episodes of this one. No others.
And then go to the next podcast and read some books. I got some books here I'm reading right now, right? Because even me in the position that I'm in, I don't want to be complacent. I don't want to be like become lazy. I don't want to feel like my ego is too big that I'm like, oh, I'm a YouTuber with 12.5 million subscribers, guys. I just go and boop, upload it, and oh, there you go, 1 million views, right? Like once I start doing that, it's just going to be downhill from there, right? But there's always time to say, okay, I've done that. Now let's go and grind again. Let's get back onto track. Let's start improving again. Look at every aspect of whatever you're working on and say, how can this be better? How can we improve this? Every aspect, right? And it's kind of the Tesla mentality where they grab a car and say, we need the windshield wipers to be the best windshield wipers in the world. We need the tires to be the best tires in the world. We need the chairs to be the best chairs in the world. And then you put all of these things together and you get this futuristic super car that everybody loves, and people will promote it and people will sell it to you even though they don't even get paid for it. And that's the mindset. That's what you want to have, the growth mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's weird for me with YouTube at the moment where I go through those phases, like what you were saying, where you like kick yourself, where like I've had like moments where I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm absolutely like non-stop 24/7 grinding, living YouTube day in, day out, thumbnails, titles, video ideas, recordings, like non-stop. And then I also go through phases where I'm like, I just get lazy and complacent. And then I have to like kick myself and like go back into overdrive again.
So
and,
I've been there too, and I do it too all the time. And now I've realized, what if me going into overdrive and just boosting my numbers for the next 2 months while I'm in overdrive, then being exhausted and wanting to go on holidays? Like, why is that the only way to do it? There might be a completely different approach where you, for example, say, hey, I'm going to build an entire team around what I do. I'm going to teach these guys how to do what I do, and I'm going to get them to do the idea grinding. But now, Elliot, it's not you recording, editing, making thumbnails, and coming up with ideas. Now it's one person whose entire job is simply to come up with the best ideas possible and implement these into your company, right? Because then he can keep that up. He can keep that up 40 hours a week. He or she can keep it up 40 hours a week while you focus on other things, right? So now you're still grinding, but you're grinding in a completely different way, which might be a little bit healthier for you.
Yeah. No. I think that's definitely, and I guess we're going to get into that in a bit, but like the automation of kind of like the cycle of YouTube is something I think you've definitely got more down pat than most. Like I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But I think
Geordie I think does it better than anyone I know. But I want to take it back a second. We're definitely going to get into that because I think that's something that's like completely unique to you. And I remember like when we first met and started having conversations, I was like, whoa, this guy's really got a big mindset with it. But
I'm just good at talking stuff, you know? Like it's
shit.
not true. You know? Yeah.
But I guess taking it back to those days when you're grinding, you're starting to feel that come up quickly. Did you have a support network around you? Like, were you talking to other creators at the time? Were you going to conventions? Was that like a driving factor for you? Did you have other YouTube friends?
Yeah, so I pretty much surrounded myself with people that were doing the same, right? So, you know, I met Jilly, I met Slogan Man, I met a bunch of other people. I got myself into like, hey, I'm a YouTuber. I want to know more YouTubers. I want to get to know all the YouTubers. I want my friends to be YouTubers or people that are doing similar stuff. And, you know, like I had to abandon a bunch of my old friends, but, you know, you become who you hang out with, right?
Yeah.
And that was also a huge factor because if I was slacking one day, they would call me out. They're like, hey, man, I see you've been playing League of Legends for 6 hours today. What are you doing, right?
Your YouTube friends would call you out on that?
Yeah, you know, and then I'd be like, yeah, they're right. I should probably call them out too next time I see them doing something stupid.
It's crazy how so many of the lessons that people bring up are echoed in different ways, like across all of these interviews. Like what you just said there, where you're like, you're a product of the people that you surround yourself with. That is so true. But it's interesting how like Elliot said the same thing as well. And like Fresh, I think, said the same thing as well when he was like, as soon as I started surrounding myself with people that were doing the same thing and in the same mindset, it just builds and builds.
Things become just so obvious. Like you're like, how did I not see this 2 years ago? You know, like Elliot knows how to make a good YouTube video. And it's the most obvious thing in the world to say, hey, yeah, I know how to make a decently mediocre video and I can coach someone right next to me how to do it. But if you're not surrounded by people with the same mindset, it's like, okay, well, how do you build a car? I have no idea.